Hello guys, welcome to the biology lesson. This is the 2026 biology lesson number 12. Okay, so our 2026 biology lesson number 12 is on nutrition in animals. It is on nutrition in animals. And remember, when we are talking about nutrition, we are talking about how food nutrients are obtained into an animal's body. So nutrition is going to talk about how animals obtain their food from the outside environment into their body. Okay? And anything to do with nutrition is what we are going to cover in this uh, topic, which is nutrition. Of course, it will not just start nutrition. We'll begin with the first part, which is dentition, and then later on proceed to other parts of the topic which are related to nutrition. All right. So in our introduction, we must understand that animals obtain food in different ways depending on the type of food they eat. So animals will obtain food in different ways depending on the type of food they eat. Those that eat hard, fresh food, they will obtain it in a different way. Those that eat decayed food, they'll obtain it in a different way. Okay, so animals obtain food in different ways depending on the type of food they eat. Okay, so you must understand that in mammals, food intake and processing begin in the mouth. So for mammals, like animals that have got mammalian animals are animals that are able to breastfeed. Okay, they are young ones. So these are called mammals. So mammals are animals that are able to breastfeed their young ones. That's why we're saying in mammals, food intake and processing begin in the mouth. So they put the food in their mouth first for the process of food to begin, where teeth play a very important role. So in the mouth, the teeth are the one that play a very important role in processing food. So we are saying the type, structure, and arrangement of teeth, which is a dentition. Okay. So we are saying, sorry for this. Let me just close the data here. So we are saying, the type, structure, and arrangement of teeth, which is a dentition itself. Dentition is talking about, it is to talk about the structure and arrangement of teeth are closely related to an animal's feeding habit. So the way the structure of the teeth is, the way the arrangement of the teeth are in an animal is related to an animal's feeding habit. What it feeds must match the type of the teeth the animal has and the structure of the teeth the animal has, and then the arrangement of the teeth the animal has. Okay, and that's what we are even covering here. So by studying dentition in mammals, we can understand how structure is related to function. So as we study the dentition, we are now going to understand why certain animals have got the structure of their teeth the way they are, like the dogs, like the cat, like the cow, like the human beings. They have got a different structure in their teeth. Why? Because of their different feeding habits. So we understand by studying dentition in mammals, we can understand how structure is related to function. Okay, why different animals have different teeth and how poor dental care can lead to disease. This is what we are going to cover in this lesson. So first of all, let's begin with the external structure and functions of human teeth. So here we are just concentrated with the human teeth, and on the human teeth we are concentrated with first of all external structure. Okay, so the external structure of the human teeth is what we want to look at. The outside, the word external means outside of the human teeth. the structure. You must understand what we refer to as the external structure in biology. When we are talking of external structure of a human teeth, what do we mean? So here it is external parts of a tooth. So the external parts of the tooth are one, this part here called the crown. This is from that area to that area. That is the crown. Then the second one is the neck. Then the third one is the root. Not these ones here. These ones, no. All right. So that is that about the external. So we have the crown, the neck, and the root. All right. So now let's talk about these structures now. One, crown. What is the crown? The crown is the visible part of the tooth above the gum. So this visible part of the tooth, when you look at the teeth, the part that you see which is above the gum is what we call the crown. Okay? So the crown is just that part which is above the gum that we are able to see. So the gum itself is covered by enamel. So the enamel is the one which covers the crown. Okay. So now that you understand what the crown is, we move on to the neck. The neck is the region between the crown and the root. So when we come back here, you will see that we have the crown and the root. So the region between the crown and the root is what we call the neck. So here, the neck, that's the neck. So we have above the teeth, that region, and then after the teeth, there's the gum. Then after the gum, then we go down the root. So the down part is the root. Now the one which is in between the root and then the crown, that area there, which is the gum part here, it's what we call the neck. Okay, so that's the neck. So the neck is the region between the crown and the root. Okay, so it is surrounded by the gum. So that part surrounded by the gum is the neck. Then come next the root. So what is the root? The root is the part embedded in the jawbone, meaning the part that is inserted or placed in the jawbone. So the jawbone is this part here. The whole of this part is the jawbone, the bone which is in your jaws. So where now the teeth is inserted. Okay, so that is the jawbone. Now the root is that part which is inserted, meaning this part here from that part where the teeth is inserted to the deep here. So this part is what we are calling the root. Just like the root in plants, they go down the ground. So the part that go down into the bone, it is the one that we call the root of the teeth. Okay, so very, very important that you understand that. Now, so this one anchors the tooth firmly in place. So this one is there to ensure that it holds. It holds the teeth in place. It has to hold the teeth in place. That's the root. Okay. So the other way we can look at this is this. Let's say the teeth doesn't have a structure like this. Then they say, can you label what the crown is and what the neck is and what the root is? This is the simple way you can do it. Just by looking, you can say, this part is supposed to be on top. So that is the crown. Then you say, this part from somewhere here is supposed to be deep in the jawbone. So this one is supposed to be the root. Then this part then in the middle here, it's supposed to be the neck. Okay, so that is that, guys. All right, so let's move on. So now next we are going to look at the types of teeth and their functions. The type of teeth and their functions. So you must understand that there are four types of teeth in a human or in animals. We have four types of teeth. We have the one we call the incisors, the canines, premolars, molars. 4 types of teeth. So you have to know these 4 types of teeth and their functions. So the first one is the incisors here. So the incisors, there are about 8 of them or so. Okay, but don't care about that number because that number really will mislead you. So incisors, they are the first one. So these ones, where do you find them? Actually in front. They're in front of the mouth. Front one there. Shape, you need to understand their shape. Their shape are flat and chisel shaped. So flat and chisel. Flat on top here, you see, they're flat like that. And then they're like a chisel, the way they go like a chisel. That one which they use for cutting things. Okay? Then what are their function? These function is cutting and biting food. So they're there to cut and bite, almost the same word. You know, this is English. We don't know. For me, I can just say for cutting food, but then they're saying for cutting and biting. I don't know what biting is, and I understand what cutting is, and I think cutting and biting are one and the same thing, but they're saying cutting and biting. So when you are cutting food so that it breaks, when you are biting, it's like you are picking it from there and keep it from there and push it in the mouth, like you are eating mango. You place your teeth on a mango so that that part enters inside your mouth. But what is that? You are also cutting and biting at the same time. So these are the functions of the um, canine, I mean incisors, cutting and biting food. Then example, like biting maize. When you are eating maize, you put in front here, you start removing that maize and goes in your mouth. Or sugarcane and also fruit like apple or mangoes. Then next we go to canine. So canines, in terms of position, they are just on the sides, just after the incisors, the one in front, the next on the sides. It's unfortunate that I didn't actually bring the image there. Maybe next time I can bring, or let me just search. We have the 4 here, 1 2 3 4 on the front here. These are incisors. Then these are canines, like canine. Then we have premolars, then molars. Okay, that's how it is. So the front one, they are incisors. Then the second one, these ones on the sides are incisors. I mean the front one incisors. Then these one are canines. Then the molars, premolars. Okay, so yeah, that's how it is. Good. So now we move on. So in terms of shape of the canines, we are saying long and pointed. So these are long and pointed. That's how they are. So it's a bit longer here and then a bit pointed on top there. Then function, tearing and holding food. So this, when tearing, for example, when you are tearing, you tear if it is hard, so you tear it apart, more like biting, but a little bit the way it is done. So useful for tearing meat. So these on the sides, they are used for tearing. That is their main function, like for tearing and holding. Then we go to premolars. Premolars are the next. So when you look at premolars, shape, broad and uh, ridges. So these, they're a bit wider there. That's what we mean when we say broad. And then they've got like to my ridges here, like there. So broad and the ridges like that. So in terms of function, crushing and grinding food. So like they're crushing food, the food comes here, another teeth comes on top there, breaks it down. So like they're breaking it and then grinding, like making sure that it goes into smaller pieces, breaking and grinding. That's the function of premolars, crushing and grinding. Okay, then next we go to what we call the molars themselves. Okay, including what they call the wisdom teeth. So in biology, we don't talk much about wisdom teeth. So shape, when you look at the premolar here, shape we say large and uh, uh, broad. So it is a bit wider here. Okay. Then when it comes to function, it is also grinding food into small pieces for swallowing and digestion. So like the premolars do the same job as the molars. Now, the molars, they make sure that if the food that was crushed by premolars was not well crushed into smaller pieces, then the molars, they make sure that that food which comes from the premolars is pushed to the molars, so that the molars, they grind it further into smaller pieces for swallowing and digestion. Okay, so very, very important that as you go to write biology, these you know them. Then we move on to the next part of the lesson, which is now internal structure and function of a human teeth. So you need now to understand the internal. We have looked at the external, which are the crown. Then we talked about the crown, the neck, and the root. Those are referred to as the external. Now, when it comes to the internal, we talk about the enamel, then we come to the dentin, then the pulp cavity, then we come to the gum, then cement, then nerve. So these are the parts of the human teeth, the internal parts of the human tooth. Okay, so now we'll talk about these in terms of their function, like the enamel, what is its function, the dentin, pulp cavity, gum, cement, and so forth and so on. Okay, so we go to the enamel. What is the function of the enamel here? So what is the function of this enamel that we can see here? The enamel. So the enamel, which is the outside part of the teeth. So the enamel is the hardest substance in the body to begin with. Then the function is that it protects the tooth from wear and decay. So this part here, no wonder it is hard, so that it protects the tooth from wear. Like the teeth is dissolving, becoming smaller and smaller as you eat food. It ensures that that does not happen. So that's why it is hard to make sure that the teeth is protected from wear. And decay, also rotting. The teeth should not rot. All right, that's the function of the enamel, to protect the tooth from wear and decay. Then we go to the dentin. The dentin is next, just below the enamel. So when we go to the dentin, we are saying it lies beneath enamel. Okay, then it's less hard. The dentin is less hard than the enamel. Okay, now the function is that it transmits a sensation like heat and cold. So this one will make sure that it is able to transmit between the pulp cavity where the nerves are and the enamel. Any heat outside here must reach the pulp cavity through the dentin. So it is there for sensitivity. Okay, so the dentin transmits sensations like heat and cold. Okay, so that is that. The next pulp cavity, this one here. So the pulp cavity, when we talk about the pulp cavity, so the pulp cavity, we are saying, contains blood vessels and nerves. So we have blood vessels are supposed to be like here. This part here is for blood vessels, the veins that are supplying blood with the nutrients this side. Okay, then on the other side we have the uh, nerves that are able to transmit information to the dentin and also to the central nervous system. So we have inside the pulp cavity, we have the blood vessels and the nerves. Okay, so pulp cavity contains blood vessels and the nerves. Then the function that supplies nutrients to the tooth. So this ensures that the pulp cavity is supplying nutrients to the tooth itself altogether. Okay, then the other function is that responsible for pain sensation. So it is also responsible for pain sensation. So any pain that we can feel around the teeth, we are able to feel it because of the nerves that are inside the pulp cavity. Okay, then we move on to the cement. The next part is the cement, this layer there, that's the cement. So the cement now, what is its function? Covers the root. So when you look at the root, the part that is that enters into the ball joint, so you find that this one will cover, it's like a cover, it covers the root. That's the number one. Then number two, helps attach the tooth to the jaw bone. Okay, so it is the one that, like cement, the way cement is, a brick on top, another brick down, in between they put what? They put cement mixed with sand, which we call mortar. So that cement that we are talking about helps attach the tooth to the jawbone. So it acts like mortar. It's like it's a sticker sticking the teeth to the jawbone to make sure that the teeth stays there strong. So cement attaches the tooth to the jawbone. Then we talk of blood vessels and the nerve endings. Those ones provide nourishment and sensitivity. When we say provide nourishment, nourishment is the process of supplying nutrients to the tooth. When nutrients are being supplied, that is nourishment or provision. Okay, and sensitivity, the way we have talked about, able to feel pain and uh, cold, heat, something like that. All right, so that is it about the internal structure and function of a human teeth. Then next, we move on to the dental formula of a dog and a human. So according to the syllabus, you also need to understand the dental formula of a dog and a human. But we have also included other dental formula based on how questions appear in the examinations. But as far as the syllabus is concerned, this is what we needed to deal with. So, meaning of dental formula now. What do we mean when we say dental formula? Dental formula shows the number and types of teeth on one side of the upper and lower jaw. Like when we looked at this image here, we have come up with the formula now, which shows on one side of the half of the jaw. Like if we cut in the middle, we just look at the left side. The formula tells us how many canines are there, how many incisors are there, premolars are there, and then molars should be there on just one half. So half you cut the mouth on the middle from top to bottom, not to sideways. Some of you might be thinking sideways. No, it's from top to bottom in the middle. Then we just look at half. That's what we mean when we say that dental formula shows the number and types of teeth on one side of the upper and the lower jaw. So both upper jaw and then the lower jaw. Okay, so now we begin with the human dental formula. So we have, when you look at, we have incisors, canines, premolars, and the molars. So now on half, both on top and down. So the number on top is 4 on top. So incisors are equal to 2 on top, 2 down. Then canine on half, on top we have 1, down 1. Premolars on top 1, down 2. on top 2, down 2. Molars on top 3, down 3. So we have 2, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? 2, 1, 2, 3. So 2 from here, 2, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. You have seen. So we have incisors, they're supposed to be 2 on half side, 1, 2 on top. Then canine, just 1. Then premolars, 1, 2. Then molars, 1, 2, 3. Even down here, when we cut half here, then incisors we have 1, 2. Canine, 1. Molars, we have premolars, 1, 2. Then molars, 1, 2, 3. That's the formation. So we have a formation that we can call 2, 1, 2, 3 formation, top and down. So that is the one which is here. It is a 2, 1, 2, 3 formation on half. So that's how you should know the formula. You should know it. If they say write the formula of a dental formula of a man, you put it like that. Then these brackets were added by me to give now the total amount or the total number of teeth in the mouth. So now you say now for the total amount of the teeth, you count now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 16 inside times 2, you get the 32. So an adult man has a total of 32 teeth in the mouth, maybe without those called wisdom teeth. Okay, then that is it. So this is the formation we talked about: 2, 1, 2, 3, total 32. So very important you understand the dental formula of man here. So this is the same one that we have already dealt with here. So the front one, right central incisors. So we have central and outside here. Okay, 1, 2 incisors, then canine 1, then premolars 2, then molars 3. Okay, so on half here, 1, 2, 1. So we have 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. So 2, 1, 2, 3 formation. So you can see. So now, and here 3. And here also on the other jaw the same. So if you total everything, you count here, sorry. If you count all the number of teeth there, you should arrive at 32. All right, so let's move on to the one for the dog. Okay, let's move on to the one for the dog. Next page. Okay, I don't know why my next page is not clicking. Let me just disconnect the internet so that I give my phone, my computer, good room to breathe. Okay, so now let's look at the dental formula, dog dental formula. So for the dog, we have what we call a 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. So it is a 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. So this is the diagram that this is the diagram that helps us to show that the dental formula of a dog. So you can see if you cut in the middle here, for the incisors it has 1, 2, 3. Then for the canine, just 1. So it is a 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. So even as you go in the exam, you need to understand. For the man, what did we say? We said a 2, 1, 2, 3 formation. For a dog, you say it is a 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. Meaning we have 3 incisors, 1 canine, then 4 premolars, and then we have 2 molars. That's the one here, the 3, 1, 4, 2 formation. formation. So if you total here again, 3 plus 3, 6, plus 2, 8, plus 8 here, you are going to have 16, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 21 times 2, you are going to have 42. Total number of teeth in a dog, in an adult dog, is 32. So you will discover that here it has more canines. 3. Why? Why? More canines and premolars for tearing fresh. So it has this one here and this. So fewer molars compared to herbivores. So when you check for herbivores, like animals that feed on plants only, they will not have more incisors and the canine, because the behavior of the type of food they eat. So you have seen the way animals feed, even the type of food, the type of teeth is differing, just like that. Then we move to cat. Cat dental formula. A cat has actually a 3-1-3-1 formation. So it is a 3-1-3-1 formation. Total number of teeth, which is 31. So don't worry, the notes will be sent in the group for online tuitions. For those that are in my online tuitions, if you're watching by YouTube, you can join in for biology. Okay, so if you want to join for biology online tuitions, it is actually 120 per subject 2026. Okay, so that is that. So again, we move on to the dental formula for the cow. I didn't put the image here. For the cow, it is different. So you have, in terms of incisors, on top nothing, down it has 3. Then canine on top nothing, down 1. In terms of premolars, on top it has 3, down 3. Molars on top 3, down 3. Total 32 teeth. Then for a rat, you'll find that on top it has 1, down 1. Then in terms of canine, 0, 0, premolar 0, 0, and then the molars 3, 3, total 16 for the rat. Okay, so having looked at that, now let us talk about the differences in dentition of carnivores, herbivores, and the omnivores. So we have different classes of animals. The animals that are classified as carnivores, animals that are classified as herbivores, and then animals that are classified as omnivores. So we'll look at first carnivores. What are examples of carnivores? Like dog and lion. What type of animals are these? Animals that eat only meat. So these are animals that eat only meat. Like a dog, a lion, they don't feed on plants, just meat. Okay, so we are looking at the dentition now. So these ones, when we look at their general structure of their teeth, they've got large sharp canines. Okay, that's how it is. Large sharp canines. That's how it is for the dog and the lion. And then they have also sharp premolars and the molars. Then what are the functions merely for these to be like that? Why are their teeth like that? For tearing and cutting meat, because these, they'll be eating meat as their food. So their teeth are like that. So few grinding surfaces. So they may not have grinding surfaces because their food is not mainly for crushing, grinding, it's just for tearing and cutting. Okay, then we move on to um, herbivores. Examples of animals that are considered as herbivores are cow and goat. So these are animals that eat only plants. Okay, these, they don't eat meat, they just eat plants, like goat and goat. They are known as herbivores. So in terms of their dentition, they've got a broad incisors or dental pad. So the incisors are broad. Then they have very large, sorry, so again data is on. So very large molars and the premolars. So these have got very large molars and the premolars. Function, why do they have broad incisors? Why do they have very large molars and premolars? Function, that is for grinding plant material, because their nutrition is based on uh, eating plants, and plants have to be grinded very nicely before they are swallowed for best digestion or proper digestion. So canines reduced or absent. So for these kind of animals, they may not have canines, which are for biting or tearing. So they may not have canines which are for tearing. They are, in some cases they are not there, or if they are there, they are in few. Then we move on to omnivores. Examples of animals that are under omnivores are human and also pig. So what are omnivores? These are animals that eat both plants and the meat. Okay, so these would eat both plants and the meat. Very important that you understand this concept. Now, in terms of their dentition, they have a combination of sharp and broad teeth. Those sharp teeth, they are there. The broad teeth are also there. Like the sharp teeth are canine and the incisors. Why? Because those are supposed to be used when they are eating teeth. Then they have got broad teeth like the premolars and the molars. Those are supposed to be used when they are eating food like plants. So canines present but not very large in pig and human. They may have canine but not very large or sharp. Then molars well developed for grinding. So in human and pig, the molars are there with those characteristics of being broad so that they're able to grind the food. Then the function of this type of teeth they have is for eating both plant and animal food. So that is it about the dentition in different animals. Now you understand. Then we move on to gum disease and tooth decay. As much as we can talk about the nutrition in terms of the dental formulas, structure of the teeth, and the function, one thing that we should also talk about, which goes with this, is gum disease and tooth decay. It's something also related to the teeth. So let's talk about gum disease and tooth decay. So tooth decay and gum disease. Tooth decay is when the teeth is wearing out due to bacteria attacking the teeth, and um, also to do with gum disease altogether. Now, what are the causes of this? Okay, what are the causes? Number one, poor oral hygiene. Oral means mouth. So if you don't have good hygiene of the mouth, definitely you may develop gum disease or tooth decay. Then number two, accumulation of plaque and bacteria. So if there is accumulation of plaque in the mouth, like a material on your teeth, like a yellow material on the teeth, that is a plaque, and also bacteria also on that yellow material, then tooth decay or gum disease will be there. So it's accumulation of plaque and bacteria. Then another cause is excessive intake of sugary foods. So if you eat, most of the food that you eat have got a lot of sugars in it, then expect that that can also lead to tooth decay or gum disease. Then lack of brushing and flossing. So if you are not brushing the teeth and rinsing with water, enough water, then you may expect tooth decay or gum disease to occur in you. Now, what are the symptoms of gum disease and tooth decay? Number one sign and symptom are bleeding gums. So find that your gums are bleeding, meaning are producing some form of blood. That is already a sign to say gum disease or tooth decay is um, happening. Then also toothache. You begin having pain in your teeth. That is a sign that you are about to have or you're having gum disease and tooth decay. Then another one, swollen or painful gums. When the gums are paining or they are swollen, it is a sign that you have gum disease or tooth decay is occurring. Then also bad breath, like when you breathe, the air that you breathe out smells. That is already a sign that you are about to have gum disease or tooth decay, or these have happened. Then cavities or holes in the teeth. So if your teeth have got a holes in it, those are the signs that you have gum disease or tooth decay. Loose teeth in severe cases, like if your teeth are not strong, they are shaking, it is already a sign that you have gum disease or tooth decay. All right. Now let's talk about prevention. Prevention. How can you prevent gum disease and tooth decay? So number one, you can prevent through brushing teeth at least twice a day. So you brush the teeth at least twice a day. Then using fluoride toothpaste. So this one now, that's why the toothpaste that we use mostly has already fluoride put in it in advance. So using fluoride toothpaste. Then number three, reducing sugary foods and drinks. So reduce eating sugary foods and drinks so that they may not contribute to that. Then number three, rinsing mouth after meals. After you eat, then you rinse the mouth. Then number five, regular dental checkups. You go for regular dental checkups. Okay, so yeah, so these are the causes of tooth decay. So uh, then lastly, eating foods rich in calcium and vitamins can help also to prevent gum disease and tooth decay. So in the next lesson, we shall conclude by talking about how tooth decay occurs. Okay, because that sometimes comes in an exam where they ask you to describe how tooth decay occurs. Then we'll proceed from there. For now, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Bye and see you in the next lesson.